Welcome to Hindustan Video Lecturer Series. Myself Shankar, as an Assistant Professor of Computer Science from Hindustan Institute of Technology and Science. So today's topic, what you're going to see is how to fetch the data from database. Okay, basically when you go for some web developments or some things, you will be having lot of softwares you can learn from it. For example, you can go for PHP, Python, next .NET, Microsoft .NET, ASP.NET, all the things you can go and fetch the data and everything from everything we can connect the database, and you can go for your outputs. But the focus which we are going to for this session is we will be mainly focusing on .NET. Okay, .NET. Before going to the concept, I mean what is how to fetch the data from database and everything, we will be going for the basic thing. All the students should know is what is .NET. So what is .NET is? It's a set of Microsoft software technologies for converting informations, people, systems, and devices. And it's a device and a platform independent distributed computing model. That is, it's mainly relies on web services. So here we will be using web services. Always we will be using the web services name. For example, the web services name is nothing but your XML codes. From childhood, we have been learning HTML, hypertext markup languages. So similarly, you're going to be in advanced levels, that is, you will be going for XML, that is extended markup language. So when it consists of .NET means the web services. Web services means XML only. So and it's turned based on open XML communication technologies. So we will be having a small description about what web service is. Okay. So what is a web service? You can see in the slide, and there is an architectural view which consists of small clients and developer tools and servers. So smart clients involves your basic mobile systems, your computers, laptops, and Xboxes and everything. And under the servers, we will be going for different kind of servers which I will be using in our day-to-day lives. And all these things interlinked with your XML web services. So basically, what is web service? It's a small reusable applications written in XML. So if web services means we'll be having different activities and different things will be taken place. That is, first one is client to client, next one is client to server, next is server to server, and service to service. So basically when client to client means it can use XML web services to communicate data. When it comes to client server, client can send data to and receive data from servers. And server to server, server can share data with each others. And service to service, it relies on web services, that is XML services. Okay, basically what .NET clients means, that is nothing but our smart clients. So smart clients involves, as I told in the previous, PCs, handheld computers, tablets, game consoles, Xbox, smartphones, and all these things will come under .NET clients. Okay, everything they will be using through XML web services only. So XML client software includes Windows CE, Windows XP, Windows Embedded, and Windows 2000. So these are the different types of .NET clients. And now we'll be seeing about .NET services. I mean, what kind of services it can be offered. So as I mentioned, the definition itself, it relies on web services. So it relies on XML web services. That is the first service which you can provide. So what do you mean by XML web services? So it offers a direct means for application to interact with other applications. So basic web service and .NET, My Services, you can go and check it out in My Services. You can have Hailstorm. That is the basic, that's the starting web service developed by XML web services. So next, we will be looking on .NET servers. What are the different kind of servers we can go for? So Microsoft .NET servers means we will be going for MS Commerce servers and MS Exchange servers. So what it actually means, it is mainly designed for mission critical to when the machines are performing criticals, and if you are developing any website or any web development activities that have been taken place, then it's taking too much of long time to load server means, then it has the compatibility issues. So that problem solvation of all the things, you can have this Windows Microsoft servers that includes, as I told, .NET servers, as I told, MS Commerce Servers 2000 and MS Exchange Servers 2000. So when you use these things, you can avoid all these things restrictions in .NET services. And you will be having .NET tools. So tools means when you design a form, you will be having a command box, text box, list box, combo box, optional buttons, all the developer tools. What are the things you need to develop a website or to develop any product or solutions? So you should have the developer tools inside that, okay? So that introduces. So .NET mainly relies on C#. Why C#? Is because its main design goal of C# was simplicity rather than pure power. That means when you're going to design any solution or any products in VB.NET, if you're going to be develop application software through Windows, or if you're going to develop anything through application software, that is through web services, then always it depends on C# only, because its simplicity should be needed. Because if it takes too huge, or if to understand you guys, then what the problem exists is you will leave the software and you'll take another one and you'll be going for that. So that problem is there. So that's why we'll be going for C#. So main features of C# is simplicity, consistency, modernity, object orientation, type safety, version control, compatibility, and flexibility. So this is about a basic introduction about Microsoft C#. Okay. So then last introduction part. Then why we should choose .NET. So .NET creates a new concept, that is the Internet Operating System. And .NET allows cross-platform developments. And .NET Web Services can be integrated into existing distributed object technologies like SOAP and RPC wire protocols. And it can mainly consist in large-scale distributed application developments. We can go for the .NET. Okay. This what the basic introduction about .NET. As I promised you in the second section, we will be going for how to code, how to code in .NET. Okay. It takes not more than 20 minutes. If you have any pen or pencil or notepad or with your hands, just kindly grab that thing and you can go for this code. And you write this code and you can go for implementation also. Okay. Now let's see. How the basic code we can do it. Okay. When we going for the coding part, the main factor, the main thing you should keep in your mind is you will be having front end, back end. So many of you guys have some great doubts. What is a front end and what is a back end? So back end means your database. Front end means the application software what you're going to use. Here I'm going to use .NET in C#. So my back end is database is SQL Server 2008, which I'm focusing on, because that is a basic thing which any small kids can learn that without knowing zero codes. If you are zero in codes, still you can code. Okay. That is why I prefer .NET, Visual Studio .NET, and backend as my SQL database. Okay. So you can look after the slide now. How to create a connection string between your front end and back end. Okay. So before you're creating any backend codes and any connection strings, first thing in your mind, you should keep in your mind is whenever you open a new form in Windows, I mean in VB.NET or VB.NET C# or ASP.NET C#, the thing you should remember is you should declare the SQL. If you are not able to declare, then when you're going for execution part, it creates an error for you guys. Okay, the declaration part will be on the top of the corner, as you can see in the screenshot, which I have displayed there. And you should use the syntax using system.data.SQL client. So this is the part of your declaration which you are going to do for SQL. That means you are going to connect your data backend with your front end. Okay, this is the declaration part you will be going for. And under the public partial class, as you can see in the slide, which it has been namespace is there on the above, and down you will be having public partial class. Okay, so in this public partial class only, you will be going for your connection string. Okay, this connection string means you are going to create a new connection with your SQL. So once you create this connection, you can able to do all these operations inside your form. That means insertion, deletion, and you can edit as well, and you can show the data in data grid also. So the parts which you are going to see today is insertion, how to insert the data, and how to view the data, and after viewing, how to display in data grid. These are the three things which we are focusing for today's class. Okay. So first part, As I told to you, connection string. Now we are going to see that connection string, how to establish a connection string. You can see in the slide, SQL connection con, C-O-N. Con, it's a variable which you are going to declare here, equal to new SQL connection of. Inside the brackets, you can see data source, initial catalog, integrated security. So data source is your server name. So that means SQL server, which is the server username which you are going to use, that server name you are going to put it here. And initial catalog is your database name which you have created your database. And integrated security equal to true. That means for security validations, you should go for integrated security. If you don't want that, you can go for user ID. UID equal to some user ID and comma password. PWD equal to, you can give some password. So these are the two syntaxes you can use for your connection string. Once you have established a connection string in public partial class, in whichever the form you are going to use, you can connect your SQL by using this single declaration. Okay, so this is what your declaration part is. Now we are going to see how to insert the data and how to get your data in your form. Okay, and things to be done here is, first part, insertion of data. Second is bind of data. Next, view of data in data grid. So after inserting your data, you should go for data binding. So data binding is nothing but you should bind your data inside your data grid, so that while you are executing your process, you can view the output of that. Once, for example, if I am entering register number, I mean student's details I am going to enter, I am going to enter that. So student name, register number I entered, and student department, everything I had entered, and I had just clicked add. When I given the add button, the data will be shown inside your data grid. So that is the purpose why we should bind the data. Okay, if you are not able to bind the data won't able to know in which column, in which row or column the data should be inserted. Okay, so that's why you'll be going for bind of data. So first part, data insertion. As you can see in the slide, whenever you're going for data insertion is nothing but add. You're going to use button add. When you double click the add button, it will be opened as private void button add underscore click. Once it have been opened, then you can declare the connections SQL command CMD equal to new SQL command of. Insert that, and you are going for insert query. So insert query, what is the insert query? So insert into table name where the value is equal to, this is the basic syntax we'll be using in normal SQL queries. So inside this VB.NET, the front and back end code, you will be going for insert into table name. As I declared my table name as stud underscore rich forms, and inside that brackets I had given all the fields which I have mentioned inside my form. And after closing the braces, I am going for the values. So values where I'm going to get from my form, which I had placed at text boxes. From the text box, I'm going to get the values. So once I get all the things, values and everything according to my table formats, I have been going for closing of connections. Okay, so close connection, that is last part, you can see that in the slide, comma CON. That means you have established a connection in your public main, and once you have established the connection, then you are going to reconnect it by calling the connection CON. Okay, so that's what it happened. Once the query have been executed, you should go for your command dot execute non-query of. So once you had given this command, your query will be in process of executing. So once it got executed, it will store in the database, and once it's stored in the database, you should close the connection. Otherwise, multiple or duplication of data can be taken place inside that. So that's the problem. So that is why we are going to use connection dot close off. You can see in the slide, connection dot close off. So once you have done, you had given a message box at the down, records inserted successfully. That is the thing, basic thing which we will be giving for our verification, because we don't know whether data had inserted or not inside the database. So that is the purpose we will be going for message boxes. Once it have been done, what I told, it should be stored inside the grid. So for grid storage, I'm going to have bind grid of function. Okay, so bind grid of function, how you are going to bind your data is shown in the next slide. You can see the slide, private void bind grid of. So as usual, I'm going to open a new connection. I'm going to declare a string str. Under the str, you will be having your select query. And once I had done that, I will be using data sets. And after getting the data sets, I will be using OLE DB so that you will be having your connections. And once it have been done, what you have shown, data grid view dot data source equal to ds. So ds have been calling from new data set. ds stands for new data set. And data grid view dot data member, I'm calling the member of the function. And the member of function is your student's list form, that is your table. So once it have been done, you are going to close the connection. So connection dot close off. So once you have been done, what will happen is your data have been created, your data have been binded, and it have been stored inside your database. Okay. So now you are going to show the data inside your data grid. So how to show inside your grid? That is a command which you are going to see now. In the next slide, you can see there, private void data grid view to underscore cell content click. That means whenever I'm going to have the cell contents, so I'll be having multiple data of 10 to 15 data will be there inside my grid name. On the top of that, I'll be declaring my table names, grid names, rows and columns names will be given to that. So once I had given that, I should store my data under that particular cell. For example, if I'm storing register number, it should go under student underscore reg only. That means student underscore register number only, it should go for it. If not, what will happen is if you don't declare that syntax, the columns, rows and columns, what will happen is the data you'll be calling is register number, it will be stored under your name. So student name. So student name, you will be having the output as reg number, that is register number will be present there. So instead of avoiding that thing, you will be calling all the cell contents by using rows and columns. So for cell contents declaration, we will be going for string s equal to data grid view dot current row dot cells of 0. That means this is your initial value, 0. So from 0 you are going to start. If you are having 15 data, it will be called from 0 to 14. Okay, that means index value is 0. And index for next column it will be for index 1, next it will be index 2, like this index 3, like this it will be continuing for all the fields which I have been mentioning inside your data grid. Once you have done that, you can go for your execution. Similar like you will be having a play button on the top of your window. When you click that window, form will be open. You can enter the data and you can check up the code so that it will be executed. What the thing have been executing, you can check it out. Okay. So this what? Here is your output. For what input I had given, this is my output. Okay. So as we discussed now, we have been discussing on how to insert your data, how to bind your data, and how to fetch your data inside your data grid. So these are the three things we have seen today. And why we are going for .NET is this is the main reason. It's a software platform for building .NET experiences, and it's a programming model and tools to build and integrate XML web services. Whatever the things you are doing inside your code, it will be creating an XML at the back end. For example, when you're dragging a text box from your developer tool, it will create an XML file at the back end. So that is the only one reason why the most people choose the .NET as the best one for developing your web services or any product developments, whatever you need. Because, for example, if you're going to develop an ERP or e-commerce, it took maximum of 6 months to work it out. But if you're going for Java, PHP, all the things, it takes time. But the output will be efficient as well as the output will be efficient when compared with the .NET also. The same output you can get it up. So why I choose .NET is .NET is all about creation, consumption, and delivery of web services. So as I think, students, you will be having a good time with me. So you have seen the concepts of how to insert, how to bind the data, and how to insert and how to fetch the data inside the data grid. So I think you guys will be working out today in home, and the next session we can check it out with ASP.NET, that we can be going for web platforms and what is the difference between .NET and web applications. You can look out that things. And similarly, we will have a demo of one smallest code which can be developed through the next session, that things. And if you have any clarifications or any doubts regarding these things, do contact us. My mail ID is provided in the PPT itself, so that you can go through my mail ID and you can submit me an feedback about this thing, and as well as you can just produce what are the doubts you are having in question wise. I mean, for example, if you have any clarification how to insert the data, how to use the connection strings, if you have any doubts, if you have got any errors also, you can just contact me. Otherwise, you can have the references codeproject.com. You can go for the website and you can check it out with the solutions, okay? So I hope you had a good time. Thank you very much.